For decades now, viewers have been keen to witness and relive the glory of ancient civilizations and see ancient armies and societies on the big screen on a regular basis. This historical backdrop has been the go-to for historical movies and films since the start of cinematic productions, which has resulted in a massive number of excellent historical movies being created around ancient history. But going through this minefield of ancient historical films to find one worthy of your time is a difficult and time-consuming task, which is why I have created this list of the top 10 movies about ancient history so you can spend more time watching and less time looking for a film. At number 10, we have 300 Rise of an Empire, the second film in the 300 series, but it can also be watched as a standalone film as well. This movie is loosely based around the Battle of Artemisium and the Battle of Salamis, two naval battles that were fought alongside the Battle of Thermopylae and pitted a small Greek naval force under the command of Themistocles against a large Persian naval force led by Artemisia, who is magnificently portrayed by Eva Green. This film has amazing battle scenes and use of naval tactics, an interesting plot, and some decent acting by the entire cast as well. My main critique with this movie is that it never does a memorable job of bringing the two 300 films together, and it plays off as two separate stories with a few characters from the original 300 movie making a few cameo appearances rather than a true sequel. But if you're looking for an action-filled film with over-the-top fighting scenes and to learn a little bit more about ancient Greek history, then 300 Rise of an Empire is a great movie for you. At number 9, it is Alexander, an epic historical drama based on the life of Alexander the Great, from his childhood in Macedonia to his eventual death at the peak of his power. Alexander is a film with a runtime that could put any Bollywood movie to shame, with the director's cut being 3 hours and 25 minutes long. So this can also be seen as the film's strong point or weakness depending on who you ask and what kind of moviegoer you are, as the story that is taking place on the screen is very slow paced and meticulously told, meaning that large battles and action scenes are few and far between, with the primary emphasis being on the politics and communication required in the running of an empire and military. This film stars Colin Farrell, Anthony Hopkins and Angelina Jolie, so the acting is great and the secondary cast do a decent job as well, but the narration at times can really drag on, so this film really is aimed at the more historically inclined crowd rather than action seekers or casual viewers. At number 8, it is Ben-Hur, the classic 1959 epic film which takes place in 1st century Jerusalem, where a Jewish prince is betrayed and put into slavery by a Roman, and the rest of the plot follows his struggle to regain his freedom and eventually be able to exact his revenge against all those who have betrayed him. Ben-Hur is one of those classic films that has withstood the test of time, and it is a historical movie that fans of the genre love to continuously revisit and watch on a regular basis. This film brings ancient Roman society to life in a very interesting way, and even if it is graphically outdated by today's standards, Ben-Hur is a great film for any fan of ancient history. At number 7 is The Fall of the Roman Empire, the classic 1964 sword and sandal film which looks at the corruption and politics present within the Roman Empire during the reign of Commodus, and how these events started the decline of the Roman Empire and the downfall of all its glory. This film highlights what makes the classic era of historical movies so endearing even to this day, as this movie relies solely on amazing acting by the entire cast and a strong plot to carry the movie forward rather than expensive CGI or over-the-top action scenes. There are a few shortcomings with this film in terms of pacing and character motivation, but nearly 40 years later, there is a reason that The Fall of the Roman Empire is still remembered as one of the best historical films ever made, and you owe it to yourself to find out why that is. At number 6, we have Imperium Augustus, which is my favorite film of the Imperium series, and it depicts Augustus's life in a first-person narrative from Caesar's assassination to his eventual last days as Rome's first emperor. This film is an extraordinary watch, and it really does a fantastic job of bringing Augustus's unique story to life. Peter O'Toole is amazing here as an aging and weary Augustus, and his amazing narration and acting keeps the film intriguing from beginning to end. This is not a large budget production, which means that the film has to keep the viewer engaged simply with strong storytelling, amazing acting, and an unexpected plot twist. However, a small critique I have about Imperium Augustus is that this film is not easily accessible for anyone that isn't overly familiar with Roman history, as characters are introduced, killed off, or just mentioned in passing who are major characters in Roman history but don't really get the screen time that they deserve. The fifth spot on this list goes to the award-winning 1960s classic film Spartacus, which depicts the life of Spartacus from a lowly slave and gladiator to one of Rome's most feared enemies. This movie has spectacular acting, battle scenes, and storytelling. All of the cast in this film are just excellent, with many of them winning awards for their performances, such as Kirk Douglas and Peter Ustinov. It also withstands the test of time, as this film is still used as a blueprint on how to depict large battle scenes and political maneuvering of a complex entity like the Roman Republic effectively on the big screen. So if you're looking for a classic film which depicts the life of Spartacus in a simple but engaging manner, then this film is the perfect recommendation for you. At number 4, it is Troy, an epic film based on the Iliad by Homer, which depicts various events from the 10-year-long siege, which sees a massive Greek army besieging the city of Troy to return a runaway bride to her kingly husband. This film follows the general outline of the Iliad well enough, and the cast are stellar, flawlessly bringing their characters to life. But I do feel that Orlando Bloom and Diana Kruger both had slightly lackluster performances and didn't really share any chemistry on screen. But this is a high-budget, high-quality Hollywood film with several A-list actors, so it is safe to say the acting here is gonna be top tier, and the storyline and plot twists are also very engaging as well. This is one of the best depictions we have ever seen of the Trojan War, and this is a must-see film for any fan of ancient history and epic war films in general. The third spot on this list goes to Red Cliff, the 288-minute complete version in particular though, not the 148-minute condensed version that's also available on the market, as this is a two-part film with each part being approximately 140 minutes in length. This film utilizes a slower paced story to effectively develop the characters of the film convincingly, while also giving a chance for the societal and political impact of the Three Kingdoms War on the common folk to be viewed as well. There are also some amazing battle scenes here which will keep the viewer on the edge of their seats, with amazing use of battle tactics and military strategy. There are obviously going to be some issues with an epic film of this length, such as there being too many names and characters for viewers unfamiliar with the Three Kingdoms history. But this is a small critique for a film of this magnitude, so if you're looking for a movie about ancient China, then Red Cliff is my top recommendation for you. At number 2, we have Agora, a historical drama which follows the life of Hypatia, an Alexandrian mathematician, philosopher, and astronomer, from her childhood to her eventual death. This film's key focus is on the relationship between religion and science, as the polytheistic religions of Alexandria continuously clash with the beliefs of the growing Christian religion and the Jews of the city as well. This film does a fantastic job of highlighting how difficult it was to advance science and the astronomy during this time due to religious constraints and the growing influence of external forces in Alexandria. Rachel Weisz really shines in her role of Hypatia and does a fantastic job of bringing her character to life. The plot is also fantastic, with lots of unexpected twists and turns, making this a great film from beginning to end. There are a few stumbling points here, primarily being that the political situation of the time could have been expanded upon a bit more, and the film does struggle with pacing at times. But if you're looking for a great film that shows a mix of Roman, Christian, and scientific influences on ancient Alexandria, then Agora is my recommendation for you. And the top spot on this list goes to Gladiator, a movie which single-handedly revitalized critic and audience's interest in sword and sandal films and in historical movies in general. This film stars Russell Crowe as the primary character of the film, in which he has fallen from one of Rome's most revered and respected generals to a lowly gladiator. The film has amazing acting by all primary and secondary actors, a fascinating and engaging storyline, and some fantastic battle scenes and gladiatorial fights as well. There are a few issues with the film which cannot be overlooked though, such as the movie is mostly historically inaccurate even by Hollywood standards, and the film overemphasizes action and fight sequences at the sacrifice of realism. However, if you're looking for a film which will make you feel like you have been transported back to ancient Rome, then Gladiator is my top recommendation for you. Lastly, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please do like and share this video with others. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel History Spark, as I post videos each and every week about historical movies and historical TV shows. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.